No, you cannot have my phone. Say please. You don't need to call me.
Good dog, come on, go sit down. Yeah, I was trying to get that printed. I was trying to have everything printed before you got here. I gotta figure out how to get that thing ready. Let's see. All right.
Not about the money, it's the principle. Gotta watch who you revere, who you listen to. I speak the East, so my flow medicinal. And I buried the old man, now I'm invincible. Gotta be wise in judgment, it's critical. Either couple with this brotherhood or you'll get ridiculed. The greatest man, the greatest servant, I kill for who I minister to. And I'm going war, nigga, win or lose. Hey, I was forged from the fire, torn from the liar. If hand join in hand, you get caught up in the crossfire. Become a casualty of chance. I'm in my stance, still in hand, ready to swing it like a lance. If the enemy advance, I'ma enhance. Had the benefit of the doubt, he never had a chance. Hey, this the shit that they beg for, that burn down the wicked Judge Dredd flow. Bitch, I am the law. Dog faced it, prepared for war.
I'm gon' war till the day I'm done. Number one till the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. It can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun. I'm gon' war till the day I'm done. Number one till the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. It can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun.
I see what they say. Never envy a carnal man. Claim they real, they actions don't match what they saying. I got the upper hand, what you don't understand, youngin'. I'd rather bleed than concede, now they're saying something. These niggas cunning, they want my power, they never take it from me. Hey, for that money, I heard you assisted. They can't go out like that, they'll have to 86 me.
All right, Shalom Israel. We're the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, under Commanding General Yohana. Established in 1969, we teach the truth according to the Bible that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Today is Tuesday, so it's a Tuesday Brotherhood class. So we're gonna get into what Brotherhood is, some more Brotherhood scriptures in this Bible. Of course, as you know, if you've been watching class, Brotherhood this whole Bible is about brotherhood. It all leans on brotherhood. These laws is all brotherhood. Everything that Christ died for, all of the priests, the prophets, they showed you what brotherhood is. Like, it showed you how to deal with one another, how to love one another, how to be perfect, which is all going to promote healthy lives, quality relationships, so on and so forth, like success, all of these great things, right? So let's get into what brotherhood is, and let's get into the story of Christ when he was getting ready to go to the Passover, right? And before, because at this time he was getting ready for the Passover, but Judas, I think it's Iscariot, right? Judas Iscariot, you understand, who betrayed Christ. We're gonna get into that and show you how everybody that say they in the truth, or everybody that calls himself your brother, really ain't your brother. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta show and prove yourself to these standards of what Christ set up to know who your real family is, to know who your real brothers and your sisters are. So let's go ahead and get John chapter 13 right quick.
John chapter 13, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart of this world unto the Father. Right. So,
at this time, Christ already knew that he was about to be murdered. He already knew he was about to be murdered. He was going to go to the Passover, and he's preparing to go to Passover. He knew he was going to be, this was going to be the time where he was going to be murdered. Go ahead.
Sir. Having loved his own, which his own.
His what?
His own.
He loved his own. Like, that's the first part of this whole entire thing that everybody has to understand. Like, if you're an Israelite or a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, that is your own. You understand? That is your own. You may not know it, and it has to be taught to you, but these are things that's taught to other nations of people from their birth. Like, white people teach their kids that about white supremacy and white love, like nationality and things like that. Because when we ask somebody, what's your nationality? That's important. You know what I mean? That's important because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't know our nationality. We don't understand togetherness. You know what I mean? We don't understand what it means to be a nation, which is the root word of nationality, what nation you come from. So we are somebody that has to be taught these things, but other nations of people, the Chinese, the Arabs, the Japanese, the Koreans, white society, Africans, they don't have to be taught these. They're taught this in the beginning. They're generations through generations. They're taught their nationality. They're taught what it means to be an African, to love Africans. They taught what it means to be white, to love their white counterparts, their forefathers, their history, their culture. All of those things is important. But again, not only is this something that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't know, but once we teach them what nationality is, you begin to realize that this Bible is the records of your culture. This Bible is the record of your history. And it's such a great thing because the greatest people that walk the face of the earth are our ancestors. Like, it's nothing, it don't matter what, like we have more to boast about when it comes to nationality and history than any other nation on the earth. You know what I mean? Because we're tied to the greatest people on the earth. The God of Israel is the God of Israel. He's our God. He's the most high power of Israel. So like when we talking about Christ right now, Christ is not only telling you that he loved his people. I mean, he had love for people, but only his people. Like he had love for his people. Like all throughout this Bible, we can show you scriptures where Christ preferred his people over everybody. You understand? And that's how we should be today. We should learn from Christ. So not only learn our nationality, but love to learn ourselves. Black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That is our own. Go ahead and read that again.
Sir. Having loved his own, which were in the world.
Which were where?
In the world.
Which were getting high. Go ahead, in the world again.
In the world.
Which were getting high.
In the world.
Selling drugs.
In the world.
Prostitution.
In the world.
Gang violence.
In the world.
Robbery.
In the world.
Murder.
In the world.
So in the world, like these people that Christ loved were destroyed. They were destroyed. You understand? So just like how we have people of our own today who look at a drug dealer like he ain't nothing, or look at like a prostitute like she ain't nothing, or a man that's sitting on the corner, he homeless, ain't got nowhere place to go. They look at him like he's nothing. Like Christ loved them, man. Christ loved them. That's why he said in the beginning, it behooved me. I mean, it was beneficial for him to be made like unto his brother. So to be homeless, to be incarcerated, to be poor, just like his people, helped him to understand his people and to relate with his people. And that's who he went to. That's who he loved. You understand? And that's a majority of Black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So to not love these people who are destroyed, you pretty much don't love your own. You understand? Like you don't love your own because that is your people. We're destroyed. We're at the bottom. It's a few of our people, a handful of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are actually successful, like overly successful. It's not a big number. So a majority of us are at the bottom and are struggling. And these are the people that he loved, which were what? Which were in the world. Go ahead.
He loved them unto the end.
He loved them until they didn't want to get right. Read it again. He loved them to the end. Read that part again.
He loved them unto the end.
He loved them until it was not beneficial for him no more.
He loved them unto the end.
He loved them until he just came up and became successful.
He loved them unto the end.
He loved them as long as they loved him.
He loved them unto the end.
No, he loved them unto the end. You understand? Like real brotherhood. That's why the name of the title of this class is "Nothing Can Tear Real Brotherhood Apart." Nothing can tell real brotherhood apart. Because when we talk about these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we think about the most simplest law, like not lying. You understand? Thou shalt not lie. That means that because I follow that law, if I love my brother and my sister, I won't lie to them. You understand? I'm going to tell them the truth. And if they love me, they're going to tell me the truth. And that's something that's hard to find in our communities. It is people is lying to each other. Husbands is lying to wives. Wives lying to husbands. And it's nobody is truthful to each other because we lack these laws. You understand? We lack these laws. We lack the understanding of who we are. But that's real brotherhood. When it say that you should not commit adultery, sleeping with another man's wife is wrong. So if I love my brother, I will not sleep with his wife. I won't even look at her. You understand? Damn near, like Christ said, don't even look at another man's wife with lust in your heart. You understand? Because there's so many levels of brotherhood that it should be no chance for you to sleep with another brother's wife at all. And that's love. That's love. You understand? So again, when we talk about brotherhood, when we talk about the laws, when we talk about love, that's all that this Bible is about. And Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were given these laws. It is our laws. And if we apply these things, then we will never have any fallouts. We will never have any, where we got to divide and be separate because we can't work things out. We will always be able to work things out. We'll always be able to have respect for one another. And that's what he's talking about right now. He says he loved them until the end. From his, like Christ, where he died when he's about in his 30s, like all his life, he loved and served Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or who we call Israelites. All right, read that that last part one more time.
He loved them until the end.
Right, he loved them until the end. Like we got to get out of it. We got to get out of having these fallouts. The same applies to marriages. Like marriages end. That's brother. Like when you marry, like before you marry a man, he's your brother. Like we all brothers and sisters, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That I think that term was coined probably in the 70s and the 60s. When they're like, hey brother, hey sister, that's soul sister, soul brother. Like we are. I wasn't calling you my brother because we got the same dad or mom. We just calling you my brother because we Black. You understand? Because we Hispanic, because we Native Indian, we family, and that's what we are. So when you marry a woman, this is your sister. When you marry a brother, that's your brother. That your brother is now your wife. I mean, your husband, your sister is now your wife. So these laws, when it comes to brotherhood, still apply in your marriage. You understand? So the same way you have to figure it out to be able to have to love your brother to the end, you have to figure it out to be able to love your spouse to the end. You know what I mean? This is a sound doctrine that we bringing out that Christ taught us and died for. Go ahead and read.
Come on, concert. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas and Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him.
Right. So it says the devil, right? The devil having now put into the heart of Judas, which is the mind. Like your heart is your mind. You understand? So the devil put into the mind of Judas Iscariot to betray Christ. And that's how it happens. Anything that we have against each other as brothers and sisters, it's the work of the devil. Like that's when we think about Jim Crow, for example, or Willie Lynch. You think about Willie Lynch, for example. He put out a book called How to Raise a Slave or something like that. How to Make a Slave or something. I forgot what is the book called. But in that book, he was talking about how to put our people against each other. How to put them against each other. Put the darks against the light skins. And what do we do today? Team light skin, team dark skin. Put the men against the woman. Now we got the feminist movement, and they going against the men, and the men damn they can't even rely on women because they going against us. They look at we the problem. I mean, we done been in Clubhouse. You ever heard of Clubhouse before? So it's like a little online social app, but we done heard sister. Yeah, man, listen, brother, it be so many different conversations in there, but pertaining to the conversation, the topic, it's been some feminist groups that been on there, and they've said stuff like we need to stop birthing men. Like they've said stuff like that. We need to stop birthing men. Another woman said that if she has a son, she's going to give him a vasectomy. She said she had a 12-year-old son that she's going to get a vasectomy so that he doesn't have to be a deadbeat dad like his father or something like of that nature. Basically, so he don't have to have kids at 12 years old making that decision for him because that's just how much they hate black men. You understand? So men against women, light skin against dark skin, old against young. Like we have all of these differences that are being made to create a divide against our own people. And it ain't just that, it's economics. Like they'll give one man money so he can be, now it's the poor against the rich. When it doesn't matter about economics when it comes to black people, we should know that by now. You could be rich and still get, humiliated by white society. You know what I mean? Like you a piece of garbage. We seen it with Colin Kaepernick. He wanted to stand for his people. Now he had to, his whole career was over. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. So these things are what the devil puts in our mind or puts on the table for us to be able to turn against each other. And that's how what happened to Judas Maccabees. Not Judas Maccabees, Salagia, Judas Iscariot. He was convinced to betray Christ. It's probably for money, probably for reward, money. They use money to get you to go against your brother. They use fame. They use all these things. And black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to be stronger than that. You know what I mean? Like we teach it all the time that we are valuable because we're black people. We're Hispanics, we're Native Indians. It's not about how much money we have. It's not about the cars and the clothes and the jewelry. That doesn't give us value. You understand? Because we're very valuable than all of those things. Because when we talk about who we are, being royalty, and what the kingdom of heaven is, we should be ruling the earth to the point where the gold, the silver, the diamonds, the water, the land should all be ours. Everything should be ours. But they use these crumbs, what we consider crumbs, $50 million. What's $50 million compared to rulership over the earth? You know what I mean? They use those things to turn us against each other, and that's not brotherhood. So we have to wake up to that in order to be able to overcome those obstacles, to be able to maintain brotherhood amongst blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead and read.
Mm-hmm. Yet Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, mm-hmm. and that he was come from God, mm-hmm. and went to God, mm-hmm. he riseth from supper and laid aside his garments, mm-hmm. and took a towel and girded himself.
That's right. So he getting ready for the Passover. It's like the first day of school. Or you've been to Passover. You see how glorious it is. Brothers got their garment laid out on the bed. You know what I mean? They ready to throw it on and go out, put their boots on. They ordered they $500, $700 leather boots and garments that they didn't had their wives put together, and so on and so forth. And the sisters and they dresses and they fast their jewelry. And it's something that we getting ready for, and that's what Christ is doing. He's getting ready for it, even though he knows he's about to die, right? So go ahead and read.
After that, he poured water into a basin,
mm-hmm.
and began to wash the disciples' feet.
Right. So now he begins to wash the disciples' feet. So what does the word disciple mean? Disciple means, you know what it means?
The disciples, like the other people.
Right. It means a student. It means a student. Disciple means student. So he's washing his students' feet. These are people who are following. His followers are his students. He's washing their feet. He began to wash their feet. Go ahead.
And to wipe them with the towel,
mm-hmm.
wherewith he was girded.
That's right. Go ahead.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter said unto him, Lord, thou wash my feet.
Right. So Peter is like, are you washing my feet right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Like, this man is we know he's the Messiah. He's the Savior. Like, he's our King. We know this. Like, we already heard about him from the prophets in the Old Testament about his coming. We already know who you are. How great you are. And he's asking me, like, are you washing my feet? Go ahead. Basically, he don't know why he's washing his feet. Verse 7. He don't know why he's washing his feet.
Jesus answered and said unto him,
mm-hmm.
What I do thou knowest not now,
mm-hmm.
but thou shalt know hereafter.
Right. So he's telling them, like, you don't understand it right now, but you will understand it, because that's how Christ was. He taught everything in parables. Like it was like he showed you something for you to understand something else. So he's washing his feet, and that's literally what he's doing, but that's not what he's trying to show them. You know what I mean? We're about to find out what it is he's trying to show them, so for them to understand. Go ahead and read verse 8.
Peter said unto him,
Mhm.
Thou shalt never wash my feet.
Thou shalt never wash my feet. So, like, think about it like this before we move on. Like, to wash somebody's feet, right? Like, that's kind of like, what's a good word for it? It's kind of like a lowly thing to do. And how many of our people do we know that would do something lowly for somebody else, for their loved one? You know, they wouldn't. They wouldn't put themselves in a position to work hard for someone else, or put themselves in a position to lose something for someone else, or put themselves in a position to have to suffer for someone else, because we have so much pride because of what we learned from the devil, which is the white man, who is full of pride. You understand that we cannot see ourselves doing something for somebody if it don't benefit us. We can't see it, and that's something that has to stop. That's something that Christ didn't teach. And that's why he's bringing out this parable right now, so we can understand. You understand what it means to be a brother. This is not biblical the way we live our lives, but because of the Christian church, which claims the lives of millions of people every year, you understand, with that Christian doctrine, we think that brotherhood is, just keeping somebody in your prayers. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they think brother is. Huh? Right, or whatever you make it. We're gonna keep in our prayers. We're gonna send some prayers up, but it's deeper than that. People out here struggling, they suffering, they don't got no money, they jobs, they got bills, and it's suffering out here. We need more than prayer. We can get some help, some food, a place to stay, some funds, a little counsel or something like that'll be better for us. But they don't do that because, like I said, the Christian church only teaches people to love themselves, just like the white man does. He loves himself. But go ahead and read. We're gonna figure out what Christ said, what Christ told one of his followers to know.
Sir. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands.
No, you got verse 8. You skipped verse 8. You didn't finish it.
My bad.
No sweat.
Peter said unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him.
He said, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Go ahead.
If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me.
Now, because these brothers are so loyal to this man, you understand? So loyal to this brother, even though they feel like you are over me and you should not have to wash my feet, just because he said, if you don't let me do this, then you're not a part of me. This is what he had to say. Go ahead and read.
Sir. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
That's right. He said, oh, well, damn, if you got to do this for me to be a part, for me to be a part of you, then don't just wash my feet. Wash my head, my arms, my legs, everything. You know what I mean? Like, wash all of me. Because that's how loyal they were to Christ. That's how faithful they were to their brother. You understand? Like, don't just wash my feet, wash all of me. All right. Go ahead and read.
Sir. Jesus said to him, He that is washed needed not to save wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all.
Right. So he said, Yahweh Shah said to me, he that is washed needed to not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. So he's saying that because he knows that these brothers are loyal like that, and they're going to listen to him and be taught and get all of that. But he knew there was somebody among them that was not clean, because again, he knew about Judas Iscariot. He knew he was going to betray him. You understand? So he's saying that all, and ye are clean, but not all. Go ahead.
For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, ye are not all clean.
Right. So again, all of these people that are with him are not clean. There's someone among him that is not clean. He's talking about Judas, right? So he knows that already. He's letting them know. Go ahead.
Sir. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you.
Right. So now he's about to break it down for him. Now he's saying, like, okay, so you know what I just did? Like, you didn't understand then, but you're going to understand later. So now I'm asking you, do you understand? Because I'm about to break it down for you. Go ahead and read.
Number one concept. Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am.
So he's telling them, like, you don't want me to wash your feet because I'm over you. That's why you saying that. You, like you said, like you the Messiah, you're the king, like you're you're the son of God, like you're the man that the Lord chose to get us out of captivity, so on and so forth. Like, and he's saying, you're right, I am. I am that guy. You understand? I am your master. I am your Lord. I am your master according to the flesh. Go ahead.
Number one concept. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
Right, because this is a lesson right here of showing you that rank does not exceed brotherhood. Right, like if you, doesn't matter what your status is, even if we talking about the truth, doesn't matter if you're a general, a captain, an officer, like it doesn't exceed brotherhood. You have to be a brother to these brothers that are under you. You understand? So, like, even if it's in the world, doesn't matter how much money you obtain, doesn't matter how much fame or success you obtain, you have to be able to take care of those people that are under you. You have to be able to do it. So that's why he's showing them. He's showing them what a real leader is about. What being a real leader is. What being a real brother is. Like, even though I'm over you, I'm going to take care of you. It's my duty to teach you. It's my duty to make sure that you're good. It's my duty to make sure that you have everything you need. You get your family stays together, so on and so forth, and make sure you're clean. And by this lesson, you'll do the same for the people that are under you, because you won't put yourself in a position like, I'm the master, I'm the Lord, or I'm up here. You understand? You're down there. What you going to do for me? Because I'm up here. No, it's about what you're going to do for them that are below you. And that is something that we don't understand in the world. We don't understand it because we'll fight so hard to get up, even if it takes brotherhood, right? People will have brotherhood at the bottom, but then when you come up, they forget about the brotherhood. We hear the story all the time, right? They got on and they like Kanye say, get on, leave your ass for a white girl, right? They want to move to Beverly Hills. They want to get out the hood and move over here. And they start acting brand new when they get on the top, so on and so forth, because they don't feel the need to do anything for anybody at the bottom because they're at the top now. But when we understand these teachings right here that Christ is teaching us, then we'll know that being at the top just means more responsibility to your brothers. The more higher you go just means how more responsible you are to your nation. You know what I mean? So this is something that's important. And that's why in I.S.U.P.K, we have the leadership that we do. You know, where brothers is, taking council calls. Brothers is, sending out monetary requests. Brothers is, housing brothers, feeding brothers, sisters too, sisters, children, their nation. It's happening every day, all day. I experience it all the time. It's a part of the whole entire process of being in the school. Because like I said, we're, as a greater number of our people are destroyed. So a lot of the work we're doing is cleaning our brothers and sisters, is helping them and supporting them and healing them, so on and so forth. So that's where we get it from. We get it from Christ. You understand? So go ahead and read that. Go ahead and read.
Kind of one concept. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet. Oh, no, I read that one.
No, you can read. Sorry, you could have read it again. Sorry.
For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you.
Right. I've given you example. I put myself down in a low state to wash your feet. You're the man below me. And this is what is it saying? That ye shall do as I have done to you. So meaning that you should be able to do the same to the men that come after you. Because one day you're going to be a leader. Just like you came from the streets and you was a gangbanger and a drug dealer and a pimp and a hoe and all kind of evil and wickedness, and I bear with you and I had patience with you and I dealt with you and cleaned you up and taught you and raised you up. You got to be able to do the same to the next man and the next woman and the next child. You got to be able to do the same thing, and that's how we're going to build this nation. Go ahead and read.
Kind of one concept. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord.
The servant is not greater than his Lord. Like everything, like Christ was perfect, man. You know what I mean? And we are so far from the truth is why we're so destroyed. Is the reason why so many of us are destroyed is because we're so far from the truth. That's why the Bible says we're destroyed for the lack of knowledge. It's what we don't know that's hurting us. It's not what we don't have, it's what we don't know. You know what I mean? These are the things that we should know. Because if we knew these things, then we would be in a better condition. Because how better off would we be if all of our successors, Michael Jordan, Oprah, whoever, all of these multi-millionaires, billionaires, if they knew this, how many millions and millions and millions of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians would be in a better condition today? We wouldn't be in poverty. We wouldn't be in poverty with $1 billion. If we all had $1 billion, like if 1 billion people had $1 million, right? Or I think that's what it is, $1 million. Yeah, if 1 billion people had $1 million, we'd be good, right? So you got to think about it. My math may be off, but it's so many amount of people that they can be able to really change their lives, to really be able to get people out of the condition that they're in. But they don't know these things, and that's why we're so destroyed. We don't have brotherhood. We don't know the truth of how to love one another, what love is. So we turn our backs on each other. We use one another. We tear each other down. We fight and kill one another, and that's all the learning from what we learn from the devil, which is white society, their spirit, how they rule and how they do things. You know what I mean? Go ahead and read.
Sir. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them.
You know what I mean? If you know these things, happy are ye if ye do them, right? So again, like if you know this, then guess what? You'll be able to have somebody to love you and give you that same tutelage and that same care and patience, and you'll be able to turn around and do the same for someone else. And it goes down and down and down and trickle down, and you start to see things that alleviate in your life, that are plaguing people, things that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been suffering for hundreds of years. You'll start to disappear in certain people's lives. And just to be all the way clear with you, that's how it is in the U.P.K. That's how it is in the U.P.K. When we come into the U.P.K, we become happy because we are really being loved by people who love like Christ did. The same way he said right now, when in here, for I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. That's what's being done in the U.P.K. They're doing what Christ did. We're doing what Christ did for our brothers and sisters, and we are happy. We don't have a worry in the world. We don't have anything to worry about. We have support, we have guidance, we have counsel, we have love, you know what I mean, unconditionally. That's what, like Christ said, to the end. Like I don't have to ever worry about, my brothers flaking on me or my sisters. They support and everything. They support their brothers support their sisters. It's a family that's undying, and it's something that we need. That's what we have when we have this. So what he's saying right now is, if you have this, then you will be happy. You will be happy. If you learn these things and apply this, you will be happy, man. Go ahead.
Sir. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled.
Okay, hold on. Let's drop that. Hold on, Salagia. Let's drop that. Let me get let's get 1 John 2:18. 1 John. So you gotta go to 1 John 2:18. Let's get that right quick. So again, like rank is like rank and order, is no greater than what they like their rank being disciples to Christ. Christ was over them, but it did not change how Christ looked at them as brothers, as his family, as his own. You know what I mean? And again, 1 John chapter 2 verse 18. But we know, like I said, these things, if we learn them and apply them, nothing can tear our families apart. Nothing can tear our families apart. We're teaching our wives, our children, the husbands are being taught to love one another like Christ loved us, to love one another according to what the love of God is. And when you love each other like that, there's nothing that can tear you apart from being a family. Nothing that can tear you apart from your brothers and your sisters, for y'all to divide and become separate, so on and so forth. Like it's to the end, like Christ said, to your death. You know what I mean? To death do you part. That's why Captain Kai said this brotherhood is a death sentence. Like this loyalty is a death sentence, because when we make that oath in the UPK, we know that this is for life. Like your brothers for life. This your sisters for life. Go ahead and read what you got.
Come, sir. John, chapter 2, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
Little children, it is the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And as ye have heard.
No, first, that's John. You gotta go to First John. First John is further in the New Testament. First John.
This one.
Yep, that one right there. Hold on, let me see. Go back. Yeah, that's it. Yep, First John.
Chapter 2, verse 18, right?
Yeah, hold on. Where you at?
Little children.
Let me see. Where you at? Oh yeah, that's it. Salaki. Go ahead and read. My bad.
Come, sir. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists.
Right. So what is an Antichrist? What is an Antichrist? Evil. Devil. Okay. That's not it. That's not it. I know a lot of people, when they think about the Antichrist, they always name a person like, Ronald Reagan is the Antichrist and Barack Obama is the Antichrist. They always associate it with one person or one thing. But Antichrist only means simply anybody that's against Christ. Anybody that's against Christ is an Antichrist. The Christian church is the Antichrist, and everybody that calls himself Christian that's in the church are Antichrist. Muslims are Antichrist, atheists are Antichrist, your grandma and them are Antichrist. You understand? Like these your regular everyday people that don't believe in Christ or that go against what Christ say, they are Antichrist. And the reason that this is heavy is because we'll start to know and understand when it says, read it again, matter of fact, Salakia.
Come, sir. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists.
Right. So we know right now that Christ taught about brotherhood, right? We taught like everything, all his lessons was how to really be brotherly, how to be a family, how to be a leader, how to deal with one another, how to deal with one another. So like when we think about the Christian church, when we just talked about before, like how much you don't get in the Christian church, that's against Christ. You understand? Like if they're against brotherhood, like the way that people like when they say like woman thou art loose, right? When they tell the woman that she could leave her husband, that they're Antichrist. You know what I mean? And because that's against what Christ died for. That's against the truth. That's against brotherhood. That's against, everything that they talked about. When they talk about, Christ, what they say, Christ died for everybody, right? That's Antichrist, like, because that's not in the Bible. You know what I mean? So, knowing these things is like, again, how we're able to gauge and know, who the Lord is with and who he's not with. Who's with the Lord, who's teaching the truth, who's not teaching the truth. You know what I mean? So, and it says that many are going to come out, right? Many Antichrists are going to come out, are going to be come out and say that they love Christ. Even they're going to say they love Christ, and they really not. They really don't. They really teaching against Christ. And those things and those people are who is tearing apart the nation of Israel. You understand? Like they are tearing apart the nation of Israel. They're listening to them because it all starts with our leaders, right? Our leaders are the ones that are supposed to be teaching us the truth. But you have leaders like Creflo Dollar and TD Jakes, and Farrakhan and, all of them that are not teaching you the truth. So but you see they have millions of followers. Like how many people go to the Christian church and call themselves Christians. So when they're learning these things in the Christian church, we're regurgitating these things that are essentially causing us to be destroyed. You understand? That are causing us to have our families break up to the point where, like, kind of like when me and you talked about, you having to be baby daddies and baby mamas and, having child support and, criminal domestic violence, because because the same way we don't know how to stay together and we don't know how to love each other, so we fight each other. You understand? We fight our brothers, we fight our sisters, we kill one another when all of those things are off. And it's because we listen to people that don't know the truth. We listen to people that don't have the truth. We think that they're holy, but they're not. Just because they wear a 3-piece suit and they got a big temple that's 3,000 square feet, 550 feet high in the sky, all of the expensive window panes, we think that these people are holy when they're not. They're not. I mean, when you think about the most greatest and the most holy man that ever walked the earth, Jesus Christ, he didn't have none of those things. He didn't have a big church. He didn't have a big house. He didn't have a nice, transportation, or, or horses and shekels or money, whatever they called the money at that time. He didn't have all of that. But this man had something that nobody can, no, you can't get anywhere, and that's brotherhood. He had that. You understand? So go ahead and read.
Sir. Whereby we know that it is the last time.
Good. All right. Good. So again, like, this how we know in the last time or the last days. Like, we in the last days, man. Like, and I try to tell people this a lot and stress it to them, because the prophets and the priests who are telling these prophecies and reading these prophecies, we understand and we see what's happening. We're seeing so many prophecies be fulfilled to that let us know we're in the last days. And it's so accurate to what the Bible says, about the nations and the Russians and the Arabs, all that stuff that's going on in the Taliban and all that. That's all biblical. You know what I mean? Like the earthquake that just hit Haiti, so many other places, the earthquakes and the hurricanes and things like that. Ida just hit and, flooded most of the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like, these things are all biblical. The pestilence with the coronavirus and the Delta variants, all of these things are real. But again, what do you see on TV? They saying that this couldn't have been the act of God. There's a video. I wish I could find that video. But he said, that white man said, it was one of the mayor, I think it's the mayor of New York. He said, this is not an act of God. You understand? Like, they're putting it on anything else besides God because they are against Christ. You understand? They are against Christ. When they talk about building the space military, they're ready to fight with Christ. You know what I mean? So all I'm pointing out right now is that no, they already building a space military. If I'm not mistaken, they already have a space military. Yeah. You can look it up. You understand? Donald Trump talked about it. I think Ronald Reagan talked about it way before Donald Trump, way in the beginning. I think it was Ronald Reagan. But yeah, so they talked about space military to battle outside forces or outside threats, which of course they think they're making us think as Americans and as humans that we're going to war against aliens or something like that. But we know, according to the Bible and prophecies, that they're really preparing to go to war with the angels in Christ. You understand? They're preparing to fight with the angels in Christ. So again, like, we're talking about the truth when which is what Christ, which is what we're reading right now, and it's saying all of these people who are coming out now that are against Christ and putting down God the Most High, putting the power in man, putting the power in aliens and money and everything else. These people are proof that we're in the last days as well. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and read the next verse.
Concert. But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things.
What you read verse 19?
Yeah, you said the next verse.
Yeah, that's 19.
Yeah.
Read it one more time.
20.
Yeah, no, 19.
Okay. Concert. They went out from us.
They what?
They went out from us.
Go ahead.
But they were not of us.
Right. So what does that mean? Right. What does that mean? That means that there's going to be people that are going to say they're your brother. They're going to say they love you. It's going to say they care for you. They're going to say all of these things that sound good. When we think about like Brother Polite and Pharaoh and all them brothers that was out there beating people's ears up, goddess and queen and king, what they say, grand rising king, all of that, good Afrocentric, try to make you feel like, you know what I mean? Like they bigging you up to the highest degree when really they just beating your ears up because they want to be able to get your views. They want your support. They want your money. You understand? It's all about what they want. It's just what they want. They're just saying these things to you so they can get what they want. So again, there's going to be people that are going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to say what they want. They're going to say they love you and call you their brother, their sister, their queen, king, all of these things. But guess what? Read it again.
On one concert,
Mm-hmm.
they went out from us,
but
they were not us.
You're right. They
not
went
of us.
Right. They really they're not of us. Really, they're not. They're not for you. They're not with you. Right. So essentially, when you think about people like for the truth, for example, if somebody leaves the truth, they was never in the truth. They was never here. Right. Because the things that we know in teaching the truth, like what we talking about right now, it's enough to make somebody to be like Christ. You understand? Where he says he loved his own until the end. Right? Because if you left, then there's something that you don't know, you didn't understand, and that's why you left. Because if you knew and understood, you would still be here. So if you left us, you were never with us. You were never with us, right? So all of the love that you're talking about, and shalom, you know what I mean? All that, Roddy, and Yabashikata, Kwame Ashala, and all that. And, you know, even outside of the truth, the love and the brotherhood and King, I say, and whatever else they say to each other, it's all garbage. It's all a front. And you'll see in due time because they'll be the ones that you'll be, you know, at war with later on. You understand? They'll be the ones that you got to go to war with because they done slandered your name. They done talked behind your back. They done stole from you. They, you know, you try to finally come to them to try to get something from them, and they were not there for you. They not with you. They were never with you. But again, like you'll know these things by what we're bringing out right now. And then, like I said, to many brothers and sisters, you have to attend classes. You have to get filled more and more with the Spirit because there's a lot of things that you have to understand and to know in order for you to build your foundation in the truth. In order for you to know where you are and how important it is to be here. But you'll never know if you don't come to class. If you're not, you know, coming to the events, being around your brothers, being around your sisters. So it's important so you know and be able to have that spirit, because if you don't and you leave, even though we know that you were never with us, in our mind, it's like, damn, this brother right here, he about to go back into the world. Probably next time I see him, he gonna probably be strung out on drugs or something. Next time I see him, he gonna be, you know, in jail. You know what I mean? He gonna be calling me from jail. He gonna be this, that, and the third. So we feel bad because we know this brother, where this brother is going, where he left, where the sister is going, where she left. You know what I mean? Where she left the truth, and we know what that means. We know what's out there. So again, like, it's a sad thing to see it. And but again, you just, in order to protect yourself, you just have to be able to fill yourself more and more with these teachings that we bringing out. Because the more and more you understand this and what we're really teaching and what Christ was really about, the more you will be like him. The more you will be able to get life, you know, and get blessings and things like that, and ultimately have the brotherhood that is undying. You understand? Have the sisterhood that's undying. All right. Any more on that night, verse 19?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Kind of one concert. They would not doubt have continued with us, but they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. Right.
You understand? But they went out. Let's get 2 Samuel. No, let's get Romans. No, let's get 2 Samuel 1:26. Let's get 2 Samuel 1:26. All right, let's get that right quick.
26.
So what did I say? 2 Samuel 1:26, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Kind of one concert. 2 Samuel chapter. You said 1, right?
1:26. I think I did say that.
Samuel chapter 1 verse 26.
You got 2 Samuel?
Yeah.
All right, good.
I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. So this is David talking to Jonathan, right? He called him his brother, right? Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me.
Mm-hmm. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Like when you think about the love and the brotherhood that you receive in the UPK because of men that follow Christ, it's something that you gotta, like, I'll be thinking about calling these brothers that are above me every day just to check on them. Like, hey, brother, hey, Slaga General, how you doing? You all right? You Tawab, sir? Hey, man, I appreciate everything. Just out the blue. Hey, Cap, how you doing, Cap? Hey, Shalom. Hey, now I'm just calling to check on you, sir, just to make sure you're good, man. I appreciate you for everything because it's just that deep, the amount of time, the amount of patience, the amount of input they give, the counsel and the support that they give to us. You understand? That we give to the men below us, that it's almost like, wow, like how I can't, like he said, I'm ready again. What did he say? I am what?
He said, I am distressed for thee,
Mhm.
my brother Jonathan.
Mhm.
Very pleasant hast thou been unto me.
Right. Very pleasant has thou been unto me. Like he's saying, like, you, the amount of brotherhood you've shown to me has been very pleasant, man. I cannot, explain. Go ahead.
Come, sir. Thy love to me was wonderful.
Mhm.
Passing the
That love to me, what?
was wonderful.
Right. That love to me was wonderful. Like, we think about what Christ died for, what Christ did for his people, what he sacrificed. He lived his life to die for us. He suffered for us. Like, that is something that is wonderful. That's a wonderful love. That's a perfect love. Go ahead.
Passing the love of woman.
Passing the love of what?
Woman.
What does that mean? Does that mean that David was a homosexual? That he loved Jonathan and not women? That this is David and John as lovers, and he just don't have, he passed the love of a woman? What does that mean? What does it mean?
I guess he loved him more than he would a woman.
So make it.
He loved his brother more than he would.
Okay, that's pretty much it. I know a lot of people hear the term bros over hoes a lot. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those things, but the reason it is because as men, our understanding of what we have to do as men or brothers as leaders is what more wider than it is for a woman, because a woman can be very valiant, right? She can be very valiant, very loyal, but it would be more there are women that that are just hoes, right? And they ain't loyal to nobody, you know what I mean? But then there's a good woman that she still ain't gonna be loyal to everybody, but she'll be loyal to her family, right? Which is her household. You see what I'm saying? Like, she'll be loyal to her household, making sure her husband's good, making sure her kids are good, and she'll take pride from somebody else to make sure that her family is good. But you as a man, right, you're going to look at the whole, not just your family, but their family and their family, his family and their family. Your love is a little bit more universal than it was for a woman, because, like I said, a woman would probably take from another family for her own family. You see what I'm saying? Which is not necessarily wrong in a sense, you know what I mean? Because a woman should take care of her household. But again, like, a man is going to love his family. He's going to love that family. He's going to love his entire nation. He's going to be for the best interest of his nation. So what David and Jonathan have established is something that will be able to benefit the entire nation. The love that'll benefit the nation. So when he says pass the love of a woman, because this is a greater love. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is a greater love, because for us, we go out on these street corners and we go out, we hold these classes, we go on the street corners and teach, we do all kind of events, things of that nature. But for a woman, like, who becomes a wife, she'll be more expected to do for her family. You see what I'm saying? So again, but there's still women again that are just hoes that, they say they love you, and you'll probably have one homeboy all your life, and he'll probably see you go through 5 different women. You understand? Like, they all left you, but your homie still your homie though. You know what I mean? You're my dog. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about. But again, this boils down to what it's going to take for us to get our nation right. It's going to take for us men to be able to get our nation right, for us to be able to love one another and rule over our homes, to be able to teach our women and our children how we should love each other and to have them in order. We have to be in order, then get them in order for our whole nation to be back in order. You understand? So David commended Jonathan for the same kind of love and brotherhood that Christ told us how to show to one another. And it's something that's, like he said, it's so wonderful and pleasant. It's so wonderful and pleasant. I can't explain. I can't even I can't even begin to say how thankful I am because of the UPK. And I know that this will be the testimony of all the brothers and sisters that come into the school. You understand? The Commander General Yohana, that we are very, very, thankful for all that that the school and these men who gave their life to Christ have done for us. Kept us out of so much danger, changed us and saved our lives. And there's so much we can, we have to be thankful for. And it's so much, it's love, you know what I mean? So we just can pray and that, every brother and sister that comes in here, is in long enough to hear the truth and understand it and apply it to their lives so they can be able to receive that same love. Let's go ahead and get 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Ecclesiasticus. You gotta have an apocrypha. You don't have an apocrypha? There's one right there. There you go. Let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 14. You understand? Read that when you get it. All right, we bringing out about this brotherhood. We talking about the truth, how beautiful it is, that what Christ died for. Ecclesiasticus 6, verse 14. How beautiful it is, how important it is for our nation, what Christ died for, so on and so forth. Good.
Sir. A faithful friend is a strong defense.
Okay, go ahead.
And he that hath found sense, and one hath found a treasure.
All right, so a faithful friend, right? So we talking about a faithful friend. When we talk about faithful, we talking about like loyalty, right? Somebody that's loyal to you. A loyal friend is what? Read it again.
A faithful friend is a strong defense.
A strong defense. What do you think is a strong defense against?
Against anything you're going through, anybody else.
Yeah, but what is why do we usually go through a lot of things?
Life.
No, not because of life. But see, we think about it's life, then we'll never really be able to solve our problems. Because it ain't life. That's not why we're suffering, why we going through the things we going through in life. We go ahead.
I don't know.
Is wickedness, right? So we I know you've heard it before. We suffer for our sins, like we suffer for our sins. Like that's why we suffer, because we're not following the laws, statutes, and commandments. We're not under the order of the Lord. We're not under the counsel of the Lord. We're out here leaning on our own understanding. Doing whatever we want to do, whatever way we know how to do it, and we're really going into sin and going into wickedness. But having a friend or a faithful friend, you understand that that was living according to what we're bringing out right now, you'll have a defense against wickedness, because not only is a faithful friend going to save you from wickedness, right? Because like a lot of us we grow up wicked, you know what I mean? We grow up doing all kind of evil, evil things all the time. Like a lot of us have. So not only will a faithful friend be able to clean you like Christ cleaned the men's feet below him, like not only will so when I forgot to say this, but when Christ was cleaning their feet, the main thing that Christ was teaching them, was showing them, is how to teach someone, because that's how you clean someone. You clean them by teaching them. Right. So you say, hey, listen, like, getting high is against the laws of God. You shouldn't get high. Then what's happening is you're showing them the law, you're teaching them, and they begin to not smoke anymore. And they begin to not be a whore anymore. And they begin to not, do this and do that. You're cleaning them with the word. You're teaching them. So the same way Christ cleaned them and taught them is what a faithful friend would do for his brother. He's going to teach him. He's going to show him the truth, how to become better, how to avoid evil, how to avoid wickedness. And then once he cleans him up, guess what? The fight ain't over, because you got to fight to stay clean. You got to fight to get clean, and you got to fight to stay clean. So you're going to have to fight to get clean, meaning to get them to be righteous, and you're going to have to fight to keep them stay clean, because how many people stop smoking weed, and think about and fight trying to hit that blunt again, like not trying to hit that blunt again, staying away from it. Like, damn, like if I just smoke one more time though, like I ain't got high in 3 months. I've been right, exactly. I've been clean for 3 months now. Like, damn, like, I feel good, because you start to feel better. You ain't smoked cigarettes, you ain't did none of that. You did all that, you've been good. But now that feeling of feeling good is like, damn, I can have a drink, and then you drink, now you want to, that increase, you want to hit that cigarette, you want to smoke weed or whatever you do, and you have to fight, you understand, to stay away from it. So having a loyal friend is a strong defense against all of those things, and somebody that's not, like Christ said, that's going to love you to the end. Like, we're going to fight to the death. Like, we're going to do this forever. Like, I'm always going to be here for you. Like, everybody that's in this school, that's in this body, if you can't depend on one because they're not available, there's so many more to depend on. Like, we have an organization of people, of brothers who are faithful friends. You understand? So that's something that you'll be able to live throughout your life, throughout your generations, raise your kids up to be a part of and have until they're from the birth to so they could be way better than even you was. Be perfect, and they can have that, and that's a defense against wickedness, man. You understand? That's what America doesn't want. America doesn't want you to have that kind of relationship with each other. They want us to be apart from each other. They rather us to love Africans and love Chinese and love Koreans and love everybody. They want us to love everybody, but they don't want us to love ourselves, right? That's why you can go into all of these organizations and support all these charities, but as soon as you try to support Black lives, it's like, oh, like, like you're racist or something. Like, you what are you doing? So that's what they don't want. All right. So go ahead and continue to read.
Colonel One Concert. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
You understand? His excellency is invaluable. Meaning what? Like, it's like you find this person, like you find a friend like this, it's like striking gold. You understand? Like when it says invaluable, like it's like you say this, it's like saying it's priceless. Like I told you, like Christ may not have had 1 million goddamn shekels, and a big house and all of those type of things, but he had something that was priceless, and that was brotherhood. That was loyalty. Like he had strength for it to be able to fight his own demons. To fight his own temptation, and also help fight others, fight theirs as well. That is something that's, priceless and hard to come by. And that's why when the Lord talks around the Bible and it says out of 1,000, I found one, that's how precious it is. Like, it ain't many that will actually come to that plate, to step up to that plate, to be that person. And that's why the U.P.K ain't some place where everybody just coming in at. Everybody ain't just flooding in here. Like you are one out of 1,000. I'm one out of 1,000. Like we're all that 1,000th man or that 1,000th woman, that came into the truth, and we all together are the ones. We're building a nation or a group that are faithful friends, or those loyal members. You understand? Those loyal men and women that we're talking about that are so precious, and like. Just finding one is like striking gold. So imagine having a whole body of them. You see what I'm saying? Imagine having a whole entire body of these type of people. Is like, it's no riches under the sun. It's nothing in the earth that can compare to the type of things that we have for one another like we're talking about right now. Read it again, that last part.
Colonel One Concert. Nothing thou countervail a faithful friend. His excellency is invaluable.
It's invaluable. Go ahead.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
You understand? So, like when we talk about it, like we talk about like nothing counters that can't like that like I said, you can't put a price on it. And it's saying right now, read that part again, verse 16, Salakia.
Kind of one concert.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that wasn't. Oh yeah, sorry.
No
So
sweat.
a faithful friend is the medicine of life.
It's the what?
Medicine of life.
What's the medicine of life? What's
that faithful friend?
But what is the medicine of life? Like what are we talking about? Like these friends ain't just faithful, like they're providing something. Again, like Christ wasn't just any man that just loved his brothers. Like to love your brothers means something. Like how do you love your brothers? What is love?
To have their back and be loyal and be
Well, somebody can have your back and still, sell drugs to you. See what I'm saying? They can have your back and still
I guess to be there for you, to be that defense against wickedness.
All right, so no sweat. So let's get this. Let's get John. Yeah, hold that though. Let's get 1 John 4:16. Yeah, no, 1 John 5:3, Salakia, in the Bible. Yep. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. So we can understand what we talking about. All right. We talking about something that's rare. Like, you can find somebody that that's gonna look out for you in the streets right now. They'll so-called look out for you.
You said which verse? Chapter 1?
1 John chapter 5, verse 3.
I got it. Sir. For this is the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
And that
for this is what?
The love of God.
So we about to find out what the love of God is, because that's what I asked you when we just talked about a faithful friend, right? When we talked about a faithful friend, they said that he's like a medicine of life for life, right? It's a medicine for life. So what are we talking about? What is love, right? Right.
Sir. That we keep his commandments.
That we do what?
Keep his commandments.
That we do what?
Keep his commandments.
That's what the love of God is. That's what love is. That's what I said in the beginning. When he says, thou shalt not lie. If I love you, I'm not going to lie to you. You see what I'm saying? If you love a brother, if you love a sister, you won't lie to them. He say you should not sleep with another man's wife. If I love you, I won't sleep with your wife. And the woman should not be a whore. If you love your nation, you love yourself, you love the Most High, then you will not be a whore. You will not sleep out on your man if you love him, because that's the law. You see what I'm saying? Like, so the laws is what love is. So when we talk about medicine, go back to where we was at. When we talking about some medicine for life, the laws are the breath of life. That is the breath of life. Like, how you heal somebody from cancer? You get them to stop smoking. That's how you heal cancer. You can avoid cancer altogether by not smoking, by not eating certain things. You know what I mean? Like, certain, AIDS, like, like you performing, you partaking in so many different sexual deviancies. Brothers is homosexuals and stuff like that, and brothers is having sex with one woman, and then next week you have another sex with another woman, next week you have sex, and he ain't trying to be with none of them. So he ain't never vet them to be wives. They're just whores. He's having sex with whores. That's how you get AIDS. That's how you get STDs. That's not healing, right? That's becoming sick. So the medicine of life is something that you will be able to get from a faithful friend, somebody that's going to teach you, like what I said, right? Teach you to clean you, right? So it's all goes together. They're going to teach you to clean you, to heal you. That's how you become heal. That's how you heal. That's how you gain life. That's how you're able to become clean. So when we're talking about this type of friend, we're talking about. That's why I said they're in here in the UPK, because out there, like they're gonna, like when we talked about Christ, when it says he loved his own until the end. What did I say? Until you say until the end. I say until the money go dry. Until the end. Until they stop loving him. Until the end. You remember you kept reading until the end? Because out there, you'll probably get some support. You'll probably get a little bit of love from somebody. They'll probably help you out, this, that, and the third. But it's always going to be conditional to something that's not necessarily that should be a condition. You know what I mean? Like let me see if I can get a good example. Like if you say you need something, like if you need something, and for me, if I got it, I'll give it to you. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, I come to your crib all the time. I be, you know, bringing girls over there and smashing girls at your crib. So now your rent is your due, and I'm gonna help you out because I mean I go there and smash girls all the time. You know what I mean? But let's say for instance you become righteous now. You know what I mean? You become righteous. You be like, hey, bro, you shouldn't be smashing girls like that, man. Like you should be, you know, sex is marriage. Like you should be really looking at these women like your wife and not trying to, you know, not sleeping with whores and settle down and stuff. He ain't trying to hear that, right? Let's say he ain't trying to hear that. So the next time you come up short of your rent, it's like, man, you know, I can't help you because what does it benefit me to help you pay for your rent? Because I can't come over there, you know, it don't do nothing for me. So again, like that's something that you see all the time. People in the world to help you as long as it benefits them, or if it's something that they can be able to, you know, it's always going to run out some way somehow. But in here, the love, the care, the you know, the faithfulness, everything that we're doing is forever. It's forever in here. You understand? So when we talk about the medicine of life, it's only that way because of the truth. It's only that way because of the laws that we're learning and that we're using to teach and clean. All right, so go ahead. So that's the medicine of life, right? Which is fearing the Lord, which is the beginning of life. Go ahead.
Sir. And they that fear the Lord shall find him.
Right. That's what happens. Like, and that's why I said, right? Fearing the Lord is the beginning of life. Like you fear the Lord, you will find him. That makes sense, right? Because it ain't just somebody you just gonna find in the world. Like you had to fear the Lord to be in here. Like I had to fear the Lord to be in here. You know, you see what I'm saying? And because I fear the Lord, and now that I'm in here, guess what? I found many faithful friends in the UPK. I found many faithful friends, like brothers, sisters that I can count on that don't have no stipulations to what they'll do for me. You know what I mean? They'll do anything for me. They'll give, you know, they'll watch my kids. You know, they'll braid my hair. They'll help pay my rent when I fall off, or they help, you know, fix my car. I mean, these brothers in here that's mechanics. They'll fix your whole car for you, or they'll, you know, so anything that they have to offer, they'll give it to you. They'll offer it to you. You know what I mean? And they'll never lie to you. They'll never sleep with your woman. They'll never sleep with sell you drugs or, you know, molest your kids or nothing like that. You understand? That's all just happening out in the world today. You know what I mean? It'll never be that. And this is how you know that we are the Lord's disciples. This is how, like we talked about the disciples before, right? We know that they was the Lord's disciples because what did they do? They said, "Don't just clean me. If I got to be with you, don't just clean my feet. Clean all of me." Meaning, I want to do whatever you tell me to do. I'm going to do whatever it needs to be righteous, and that's what's happening in here. Brothers are doing whatever it takes to be righteous, and that's all they care about. And they put their brothers and their sisters over everything. You know what I mean? That's real brotherhood. That's that pleasant love that David was talking about. That's the love that Christ showed us and that he died for us to be able to learn. You understand? Any more on that?
Yes, sir. I think it is. Yes, sir. No, it jumps into 17.
Okay, no sweat. Let's let's get let me see. Let's get Salakia. Let me get real quick. Let's get Hebrews chapter 13 verse 1. No, in the regular in the New Testament. Matter of fact, let's start with 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Salakia. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. We can get a few more scriptures, then we're going to close the class out. If anybody got any questions in the class in the chat, y'all can ask the questions in the comment section.
You said which chapter?
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10.
Sir. Now I beseech you.
Okay, right. So we read this before. I beseech you. Beseech means to beg. I beg you. Go ahead.
Brethren, but by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing.
That ye all speak the same thing. Go ahead.
And that there be no division among you.
Right. That there be no division among you. Right. Like once we have this truth and we start speaking this truth, there should be no reason to have division, because this truth is perfect. It's perfecting relationships. You know, it's conforming men and women into princes and princesses, you know, like real royalty according to the culture of their ancestors. You know, the culture of our ancestors is it's the opposite of the culture of white society and every other society that's around us. And these are the people we learn from. You know what I mean? So we're totally gone from where we're supposed to be. But when we learn the truth and start speaking the truth one to another, then what we do? We can cut out division. You know, we can stop having the option of leaving one another. Like black men don't want to deal with black women no more, so they go sleep with white women. You know what I mean? Black women don't want to sleep with black men no more because we got so many problems and we broke, whatever the case may be, and they'll go sleep with a white man now. Like there's no more outs when it comes to this truth. You know what I mean? Like it's no outs. Like you're gonna make a decision, and it's gonna be a wise one with the truth, and it's gonna be better off than it would be without it. And then with the truth, you'll be able to maintain your relationship, no matter if it's a marriage, no matter if it's brothers, no matter if it's sisters, no matter if it's if it's parents, like your mother and father, like your daughter and your son. You'll be able to become better family for one another. Have no division. Be able to love each other to the end. Go ahead.
That ye all speak the same thing, and that I read that among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
In the same mind and in the same judgment. So like whatever it is that I go through, you know, you'll go through it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, like the same way, if I do something wrong, you'll if just because you do something wrong doesn't change. If I do something wrong, it'd be the same judgment. Like I get judged for the same things you get judged for. We speak the same thing, we get judged by the same things. Like we are family. Like we're gonna suffer the same way and everything of that nature. Like it's a part of being a part of a body that's one. Let's see. It was a scripture I wanted to get. Yeah, Galatians. Let's get Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. Salaga, sir, can I get some scriptures on sacrificing for the truth? Sacrificing for the truth. I mean, there's plenty of scriptures like that. I'm trying to think of something. Like the first thing to come to mind is, sacrificing your family. Like, like when Christ said, "Who is my mother? Who is my brother?" Like, or your foes should be those of their own household. Like, you got to sacrifice your own family at times. Like, for these brothers, for that faithful friend to be here, to fear the Lord and find this truth and have this truth, you have to lose your family, and it's because not because you're gonna throw them away. It's most likely because they don't want to deal with you no more, because you ain't getting high with them, you ain't celebrating Christmas no more with them, you ain't at the birthday parties, and they offended by that. You know what I mean? They offended by that. They offended that you ain't at Thanksgiving. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that's a sacrifice. I've seen people that have to sacrifice losing their children. Their children don't want to follow in the truth, and they go away. And you have to, you sacrifice a lot. You pretty much shedding yourself of everything, when you come into the truth. But let's save that. That's a good question, though. It could probably be a good topic for another day, maybe another brotherhood class, something we can actually get some scriptures and prepare for. So we can go through that. That's a good topic. But if you think about it like that, like I said, you sacrifice a lot coming into the truth. But specifically, off the top, that's the only scriptures I can think of right now as far as family. You got Galatians 6:2.
Yep, I got it.
Go ahead.
Kind of one concert. Bear ye one another's burden.
Do what?
Bear ye one another's burden.
Right. Like you have to bear you one another's burden. Like we listen to we're so Hellenized. Like we're so Hellenized. We're so Christian, so American. You know, all of those things are why we don't even care about each other. You know, we don't care about each other like when we should. You know what I mean? Like, why should we? Because it's our culture. You know what I mean? Like we just read it right now. It says, bear ye one another's burden. Like some of us are ready to relieve our own burdens and put them on somebody else. We so ready to get help, but we ain't ready to give help. Am I right or am I wrong? How many people you know that's always looking for somebody to help them, and then when you need them, they ain't nowhere to be found. They got all the excuses in the world. All the excuses in the world. That's pretty much every Black, Hispanic, Native Indian woman we know, you know. And when I say that, I mean it's just a great majority, but it shouldn't be that way. You understand? We should be able to bear one another's burdens, and when we bear one another's burdens, it makes it lighter on all of us. Because whatever you're dealing with, I'll help you deal with it. And whatever I'm dealing with, you help me deal with it, and we deal with it together. And then if it's not just two of us, it's 100 of us. That's even more help than we have. But nobody wants to help each other because we think from the same mind of white society. It's all about us and for self. The way the white man looks at us and doesn't want to help us and take care of us, and you know how he hates us and talks bad about us, we do the same to each other. But we will go and help white people though. We will do that. We will go help white people. We will go, help, Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ. But when it comes to actually helping Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or being there for your brothers and sisters, like I said earlier, unless it has something that's going to benefit you or benefit them, they're not going to probably be reluctant to do it. But again, in the U.P.K, we bear one another's burdens. We do that because we follow Christ and what Christ said to do, and he did that. You know what I mean? Like he did that. Did he not die for all of us? Like he took the burden of losing his life that we may get off of drugs. So we don't have to be drug addicts no more. And we don't have to be, suffer and die, because we getting high, because we smoking weed, you know what I mean? Or being a whore, that we can stop being whores. Like everything that we do wrong, he died so that we can be able to be healed, have life, and be better. So that's something that we need to be learning and teaching, but we have to get rid of that Christianity and know that all these other doctrines and philosophies in order for us to understand this. Go ahead and read it one more time.
Come on, concert. Bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Christ.
There it is. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Like Christ is the main example of bearing someone's burden. Like he bared the whole entire burden when he was slew on that tree. He didn't have to be on that tree. He didn't have to be up there. He didn't have to be slew and murdered. He didn't have to be that. But he did it for us because he was bearing our burdens. He took it. He took our judgment for himself. Like he died for us. And again, how much better would it be if we had brothers and sisters that were like that? You know what I mean? Don't we all have problems? Ain't we all suffering? Is you?
That's my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my car. I got my gun in there.
You understand? Like, wouldn't we all want to have someone to help us or to have someone to look out for us and be a support to one another? I mean, think about it. If we can all have that and come up to the point where we're up, then your burdens have been relieved, right? And if your burdens have been relieved, then you can help somebody else relieve their burdens. And then once we all relieve our burdens are relieved, then we can be able to live happily. We can be able to live happily. We can be able to sustain our communities, our nation, our families. So it's something that is important, and it's not a light thing to bear one another's burdens. It's not a light thing. Like, we all should be trying to do this, and that means looking at it just the way Christ look at it. That's why it says we fulfill the law of Christ. Because when Christ congratulated those brothers or rewarded those brothers, he said, I'm rewarding you because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was starving, when I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was in jail, you came and visited me. When I was naked, you clothed me. And they didn't understand it, but he let them know that it's because you've done it to the least in the kingdom that you've done it to me. Because even those people who are out here suffering that are at the bottom, those people that are at the bottom that are suffering, they would be most beneficial from the help that we could be able to provide for them, man. They'll be most beneficial from the help that we can provide for them because they're totally at the bottom. You understand? They don't have a house, a pot to go piss in, or window to throw it out of. You know what I mean? No clothes to put on their back, no food to put in their stomach. They're completely at the bottom, and we can bear their burdens by what? By helping them, by helping feeding them, by giving them shelter, by helping them get shelter, by giving them water, by like doing everything that Christ said that we should do for our brothers. And then what? For brothers like myself or other brothers that have a job that they not finances not the issue. It might be something about marriage, you know what I mean, that I might need help for. It might not be roof over my head, but food in my stomach, but I might need help, moving. I'm about to move out my house to another house, and it's pretty much, going to be a burden for me to get there. But brothers being able to come together and help me move to my other house, or like I said, brothers and sisters helping to babysit one another kids, like that's bearing one another's burdens. In the same way they would do it for you, you should be able to do it for them. Same way they'll do it for me, the same way I would do it for them. You understand? And that's the benefits of being able to have this truth and learning the truth of Christ. And this is going to grow to be so big that we're going to bring heaven on earth to the point that we're going to be in rulership and we don't have to ever worry about suffering ever again. That's what we're building. You understand? That's what we're working up to. The point where no man has to worry about rent and car notes or insurance and child support or none of that. Because in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna be worried about none of that. You understand? We're gonna be the ruling class. You know what I mean? We're gonna be the ruling nation. So that's what we're working to ultimately, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man, to see it. Read that one more time about the show. I think the page flipped when you walked away. Let's get 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 8. Yeah, let's get that. I'm gonna probably get 2 more scriptures. I got a couple I want to bring out. But bearing one another's burdens, man. First Peter 3 and 8.
Sir. Finally be ye all of one mind.
Finally be ye all of one mind. Right? So again, like, it's all of these doctrines, all of these philosophies, it's all to confuse us and to make us more lost. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be like Adam was supposed to be. We have to tune in to what the Lord told us to tune into and block out everything else. We have to block it all out. Like, it ain't even there. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be in the truth and listen to these breakdowns. And even when it comes down to counsel, get this counsel and don't get counsel from anywhere else. Don't go anywhere else to get counsel. Don't go anywhere else for wisdom and understanding. Come here to the truth, to what the Bible calls the tree of life, right? Because this is what the breath of life, what causes us to live and to be healthy, and so on and so forth. But everything that he said told Adam not to partake in, which is the trees that are round about the garden or the other nations, that's Christianity, that's Islam, that's Taoism, that's Buddhism, that's Christmas and Thanksgiving, whoredom, drugs, gang banging. All of those things are something that we learn from these other nations. That's what we learn from them. They were the first gangbangers, and they the first homosexuals, and they the first drug dealers and drug users. That was not us. Our forefathers didn't partake in those things, teach those things. So we have to be able to come to the truth and be in one mind under the truth. Go ahead.
Kind of one concept. Having compassion.
Having what?
Compassion.
Having what?
Compassion.
Compassion. What does compassion mean? Let's get the definition.
I like to have like empathy for someone.
That's close. That's close. Okay, so compassion is sympathy, pity, and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. You see what I'm saying? So what you were saying is writing online, but it's all those things together. It's making sure to that someone else is good. It's not all about yourself. You know what I mean? It's about someone else. So having compassion means caring for someone else, caring for others. Like, I can sit right here and think about all of the things that I need and all the things I don't have, but I would rather help someone else and see what they need and what they don't have. And if it was happening like that all around the board, then I wouldn't need or not have anything. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't need or not have anything at all, right? Because somebody would be caring for me. And that's what you see when you come into the truth. Like, it's brothers and sisters that are having compassion for each other. They're always thinking about someone else and not themselves, because the truth is how you become selfless, right? Truth makes you selfless. That's why Christ was able to sacrifice everything and give up his life, because he didn't care about his life. He cared about the lives of his brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? He cared about the lives of his brothers and sisters. So when, Kabar, when you asked about, sacrifice, that's it. Like, like coming into the truth and not getting high, shedding yourself for the world, that sacrifice, for the truth, like sacrificing everything you knew, everything you were, everything you used to love back in the day, everything that your habits, your family. Your own family. Like I said, like I tell brothers, when it comes down to the truth, I gotta, like I said, the bishop must be the husband of one wife. So meaning at the end of the day, like I'm going to put this truth before my own wife, before my own children. That sacrifice, you know what I mean? So it's selfless. Like, it's not about me. It's not about anybody. It's not about me. It's about the truth. Because I know that this truth is the best thing for my wife. It's the best thing for my children. It's the best thing for my brothers. The best thing for my sisters. The best thing for everyone. So the more I progress in here and become selfless and become more suitable or blameless, the more I'm able to help these people. The more I'm able to help anyone else. And that's what the truth is about. Compassion. Cleaning yourself up and cleaning up others. All right. So go ahead and read that from the top one more time, Bubba Bashar.
Kind of one sir. You said which one?
3 and 8, chapter 3, verse 8.
Okay. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous.
Right. All those things take selflessness. All those things are what you would consider selflessness, because it's all about what you can do for somebody else, because that's what love really is. Love is not what somebody can do for you, because a lot of people look for love. They're like, man, I need a man that's this, that, and the third, and I need a woman that's this, that, and the third. But what kind of man are you going to be for a woman? What kind of woman are you going to be for a man? You see what I'm saying? What are you going to be able to do for your husband? What are you going to be able to do for your wife? That's not what people are thinking about. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Right, because women are always talking about what they want, and 9 times out of 10 they get into relationships and they really ain't good wives. Men are always talking about what they want, and then they get into the relationship, and 9 times out of 10 they're not good husbands, because they never thought to be what they need to be for someone else. You know what I mean? Because that's what real love is. Love is about what you could do for someone else. So again, like if we're practicing this all the way around the board, every brother and sister will be able to have an abundance of compassion, an abundance of courtesy, an abundance of charity, care, all of those things. Like, even right now, brothers, we go out to eat, and damn, they got to fight over who's going to pay the bill. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm going to pay the bill. No, I'm going to pay the bill. Nah, I'm gonna pay the bill. You know what I mean? No, I'm gonna pay the bill because it's an abundance of charity. It's an abundance of love. It's an abundance of, like we just said, compassion. Brothers that want to take care of one another, sisters that want to take care of one another. That's what we want to do. Almost damn near we about, like I said, we about to fight. Like, you know, like you gonna let me, you know what I mean, pay this bill. Like you gonna let me, like, no, I'm going, like, no, just come on, bring the kids over. Like, nah, I'm gonna watch them. Like, just no, don't worry about that. Just let me do this, let me do that. I'm gonna do it. Like, let me do it. And that's what it's about. It should be like that. You know what I mean? It should be like that. That's what compassion is. That's what, loving one another is about. That's what love is. Like, that's why it says, when it talks about love, it says charity suffereth long, because sometimes you have to suffer for somebody, you know what I mean, in order to be able to be with them forever, in order to be able to get through these obstacles that tear so many relationships apart. You have to suffer some things, you know what I mean? So again, but everybody that's listening to white society or Christianity and things like that, the minute they suffer, this can't be the relationship for me. I mean, the minute they suffer, and this can't be the man for me. This can't be the woman for me, because this is a hard time, and I shouldn't be in a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, I should be good. I should have everything that I want and be happy. I shouldn't be upset. This ain't the man for me. This ain't the woman for me. You about to say something?
Just like I told somebody, like people go buy nice cars. They get the base of the car and everything, right? Mm-hmm. But they want to do something to it. They don't come with the bells and whistles all on it. You got to work for it and put in the work.
That's right. That's right. That's right, man. Like, that's why I said Brotherhood is tried in the fire of affliction, like the fire of adversity, right? Like it's like you got to go through something to become something. Yeah. You got to go through something to become something. You got to put work in to have something good. It ain't gonna be laid out, just like right now, like this the kingdom of heaven itself. Like, we want to rule the earth and never have to work ever again. But what do you have to do? You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to fight and be perfect and fight your temptations and fight to do what's right and to stay righteous and be lawful to be able to gain the greatest thing you can ever gain, which is the kingdom of heaven. So again, in your relationships, it's the same thing. Like, you're going to fight. You might argue. You might fall off. You might have, might not be as perfect, like you said, but you will have to work towards making it perfect. You have to work towards getting over obstacles. There are going to be obstacles. But if you're living selfishly, selfishly, then you're going to come into a point where things are not the way you want it, and it's going to be assigned to you that this ain't it. And that type of person will always be alone. You know what I'm saying? That type of person will never be good for anybody. So when we reading right now, we talking about what? Long suffering, loving, compassion, what you can do for someone else. You know what I mean? Because no matter what I need, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? And then guess what? In a relationship, it most likely should be backwards, the other way, vice versa, I should say. Where it's not about them, it's about me to them. You know what I mean? So this is how it is, and this is what Christ died for. It's all through the scriptures about compassion and brotherhood and love and selflessness, suffering for someone. It's all through the scriptures, and that's what real brotherhood is. That's what real love is. Any more on that?
No, that's it.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up with 1 John chapter 2, verse 9. First John chapter 2, verse 9.
Is that chapter 9?
Chapter 2,
my bad.
Verse 9. Come
on, sir. He that saw he is in the light, and hath his brother is in darkness, even until now.
Okay, read that one more time.
He that saw he is in the light, and hath his brother.
He that, hold on, where you at? 2 and 9. He that saith.
Oh, he that saith he is in the light, and
hateth
his brother.
Right. So you saying you in the light, right? The light would normally be referring to a good place, you know what I mean, or a good state, or somewhere of high degree, or something good, like he to say if he is in the light, like I'm up. You know how people like I'm up right now, or in the light, or in the truth. In another aspect, he to say he's in the truth, right? He to say he's in the truth. Go ahead.
And hath his brother
Hateth.
my bad, and hate Salaki, and hateth his brother is in darkness even until now.
Right. He that saith he is in the light, or in the truth, right? Because that's what the truth is, the light. It's the truth. Like, you like right now, like how many Christian pastors say they are saved and sanctified? Like how many Christians say they saved and sanctified? Yeah, all of them, every single one of them, and they'll molest your children, and they'll turn their backs on their brothers and kill them and everything else, because they really hate it. They really hate their brothers and their sisters, right? So it's saying that they're saying that they are in darkness even until now, meaning they, like I just told you just now, like a person that is only thinking about what they can do for somebody. I mean, what somebody can do for them, they're always going to be alone. They're going to be the ones that feel like they're alone all the time. Like I don't have nobody. I'm all alone. Nobody's here for me, because who the hell wants to be there for you? All you care about yourself. Once we get over you, we start to see how evil and wicked and selfish you are. You understand? Like think about it in a relationship. Like you got somebody that's just selfish all the time, but you love them. Then they leave you because you ain't doing enough for them. And then you get over them, then you realize, like, you know what? I could have did better than that anyway. Like, and all you just did was got rid of a good man or a good woman. All you did was got rid of a good man and a good woman because you was selfish, because all you cared about was yourself. And they're living in darkness, and they're not in the truth, because to be in the truth means to say, God damn yourself. Fuck myself. Excuse my language, like this. Forget myself. I'm caring about my brother. I'm caring about my sister. But a person like that a selfish person is always going to be alone, because you'll help them get on their feet, and then when they get on their feet, and then when you need help getting on your feet, they're gonna say what, like, pull your own self up. You gotta pull yourself out of your own bootstrap. You gotta work harder. I can't help you, right? I can't help you. You gotta work hard. And they be like, what about the time I helped you though? You didn't have to. You know what I mean? You didn't have to. You got a choice. You didn't have to. Like literally, that's the mind and the thoughts of people. You understand, that don't have the truth, and they say they're in the truth. They say they love the Most High, and they follow Christ, but they not. They really hate their brothers, and they suffering. And then inside they're alone. They don't have no friends. They in their relationships with everybody, because nobody can ever make them happy. You understand? But that's never what it was really about. It's about them. Should have been about them making someone else happy, them being there for someone else. So they're living in darkness. You understand? They're living in a place where nothing is right. Because after a while, there's a chance you could lose your job. There's a chance your car could break down. You could get in an accident. Then what you gonna do? You gonna need somebody. You're gonna need somebody. The Lord to make it happen. He most of the time does. When you're a selfish person, a selfish man or woman, he's gonna make it to where you need somebody, just to show you that you shouldn't be selfish. You understand that you should help people, because you're gonna one day need help. You understand the power of helping, like we just said, the power of compassion, caring for somebody else about except your own goddamn self. You know what I mean? So go ahead and read.
That was all of it.
No, go ahead, verse 10.
Oh, he that loveth his brother abideth in the light.
Right. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light. Like, in the truth, we love our brothers. In the truth, we love our sisters. That's all we do. We love each other. We love each other more than we love ourselves. Right? More than we love ourselves. I love my brother so much, I stopped getting high. You know what I mean? I stopped smoking weed, because that was the only way for me to be brotherly to him. You know what I mean? For me to be able to be a better brother for him, or better brother for her. Right? So we abide in the truth, in the light. Go ahead.
And there is none occasion of stumbling in him.
Right. There's none occasion of stumbling in him. Like, there's not going to be a time where you're going to, it's not going to be a time where I'm going to ever need anything, because I have brothers that are going to be there for me. Sisters going to be there for me. There's never a time where I'm going to, fall off, because, like I said, I got brothers and sisters. I got a nation that loves me, that are going to be there for me. Right? I don't have to, I'm not going to, like it says, like and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. Like, I'm going to love my brothers and sisters. When you have this truth and this knowledge, and you love your brothers and sisters, you're going to love them regardless. You're going to love them regardless. It's going to be regardless of, anything. We work stuff out between each other. We sometimes have disagreements, and we still going to work it out and continue, let brotherly love continue. All right? Go ahead and continue to read. I got to wrap it up. It's about 10 minutes.
Sir. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness,
right,
and knoweth not whither he goeth.
Right. So exactly. So but he that hateth his brother is in darkness, right? Like we said before, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because the darkness has blinded his eyes. Right? And that's what selfishness will do to you. That's what it'll blind you. It'll blind you from how hateful you are. Like, it don't like to be selfish is so hateful. You understand? Like, I've seen it before. Like, I've seen it since my time in the truth. I was able to understand how hateful selfish is. The type of things people will put their loved ones through to gain something. You see what I'm saying? How much they will put their own sons through, their own daughters, their own mothers, to get what they want themselves. You see what I'm saying? I've seen like how many women have put their kids on somebody just so they can go out to the club, some random person. How many women have, got rid of their husbands because, or like I should say, aborted their babies because they didn't want to miss out on a job opportunity and get these riches and get big. You know what I mean? How many people have, slept with they brother's girlfriend just to get it because they horny and wanted a nut. You know what I mean? They were just so attracted to her and wanted to get, you know what I mean? Like, selfishness causes you to do evil things to people and to the people that you love, man. You understand? Just for your own self gain. And that's why it says what it says. Like, hold on, Salagi. That's why it says what it says, because that darkness has blinded his eyes, and they don't see it. They don't see it because they're so blinded by success. They're so blinded by, the cars and the clothes and the fame and having, the shoe, the sneakers and everything else, that they don't see what the things that they're doing that are causing the people that they're using to get there to suffer. They're causing them to suffer, man. They're pulling all of these strings and doing all of this stuff that for somebody like me that has compassion, that wants to help them, that they'll use and get what they need and then kick me to the curb. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I was saying about these people that are in the world, these people in these churches and all of these religions and in the world, period. They're not going to love you the way you need to be loved. They're not the faithful friends that the Bible is talking about when it says that, is the medicine of life. Like, they're not the ones. You understand? In fact, they're the ones that, again, what was the scripture we was reading in the beginning when we was just talking about like how they're going to say good things. They're going to say good things to you. They're going to laugh in your face. They're going to smile with you and play and joke. But then when it comes down to it, they're going to be the ones that stab you in the back. Because they're going to be the ones that you'll never be able to count on. You understand? But again, when you have this truth and you have these teachings, we learn the ways of Christ and all of these brothers and sisters in this Bible, not only will you have everything that you ever need, but brotherhood will never, ever be torn apart. Like, you'll have a family to the end. You understand? With that, we at the I.S.U.P.K. We started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, under Commander General Yohana, established in 1969. We teach the truth according to the Bible that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. Shalom.
It's not about the money, it's the principle. Gotta watch who you revere, who you listen to. I speak the East, so my flow medicinal. And I bury the old man, now I'm invincible. Gotta be wise in judgment, it's critical. Either couple with this brotherhood or you'll get ridiculed. The greatest man, the greatest servant, I kill for who I minister to. And I'm going war, nigga, win or lose. Hey, I was forged from the fire, torn from the liar. If hand join in hand, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Become a casualty of chance, I'm in my stance, still in hand, ready to swing it like a lance. If the enemy advance, I'ma enhance. Had the benefit of the doubt, he never had a chance. Hey, this the shit that they beg for, that burn down the wicked Judge Dredd flow. Bitch, I am the law. Dog faced, prepared for war.
I'm gon' war to the day I'm done. Number one to the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. It can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun. I'm gon' war till the day I'm done. Number one to the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. It can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun.
I see what they say. Never envy a carnal man. Claim they real, they actions don't match what they saying. I got the upper hand, what you don't understand, youngin'. I'd rather bleed than concede, now they're saying something. These niggas cunning, they want my power, they never take it from me. Hey, for that money, I heard you assisting. They can't go out like that, they'll have to 86 me.